Welcome to Soulful Conversations with Najdjeda. I'm Najdjeda Chappoteau. I am an empowerment and confidence coach, spiritual teacher, and speaker. I am passionate about dance. This was actually a song from my fellow Haitian brother. Well, not a brother by blood, but he's a Haitian J. Perry. That was TSVA. And I love, aside from dancing, I'm also passionate about spiritual growth, nature, making a difference, specifically empowering women and children in my homeland, Haiti, and other developing countries, developing communities, minorities. And also I'm passionate about empowering women around the world, which is very much linked with my work, and reconnecting with themselves, embracing who they are, find their voice, discover their values in order to make an impact in the world. I am passionate also about social justice and politics. As a coach, I help ambitious women who want to make an impact in the world. I help them reconnect with themselves, find their voice, discover their values, find their vision, and know what their mission and vision is so they can make an impact in the world. And I'm all about impacting the world, and I am very excited about my guest today, who is also Haitian American like me. So my guest, well, sorry, she's not Haitian American. She's
Canadian.
She's Haitian Canadian. Sorry, she's a Haitian sister. I have to remember. Hello, we're not all Haitian. We're not all American.
I love it.
Actually, I was thinking about this. I was like, don't make that mistake. You told me you're Haitian Canadian. So she's Haitian Canadian. Sorry about that.
That's
so
fine.
her name is Pat Romain. She is an empowerment and leadership coach, writer, and speaker. For the past 7 years, she has helped hundreds of career women and business owners across the globe go from idea to a solid feel-good plan. Pat is passionate about helping women uncover their mission and thrive as leaders. I love that. Our work are very much.
I know.
Yeah. She holds space for women to achieve success by banishing beliefs of self-doubt and help them uncover their inner compass so that they create a beautiful life, career, and businesses by trusting who they are. I love that, who they are. She believes that everything starts from within, which is deeply spiritual. Thank you for joining me today, Pat.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for saying yes so she is my last interview for this month, which I wanted to feature Black women only, aside from Siobhan, who joined Alexis and I, where we were talking about the law of attraction. So thank you I know it's a short notice, so thank you for joining me.
It's fine. I was very happy to have the invitation, and I feel really, I feel special that I'm the last one.
Yes, you are. And before I move on to the interview, I do want to make a note to, my audience. Maybe you're just listening to this for the first time, or maybe you've been catching this every week. I've actually chosen, because I've taken on a lot, and I'm looking at other projects which are offline. I've chosen for now. At some point, I may get back to every week, but starting next month, which is actually next week, because you'll be listening to this the last Thursday of February, I'm gonna start having interviews. It's gonna be twice a week. I may add on 1 week, which will be me once in a while, which will be me alone. But for interviewing with my guests, it will be twice a month instead of every week. So it'll be every other week. So I just want people to know that. But those of you who are subscribed to my email list, don't worry. I will have you. I will be sharing content with you still, aside from my Tuesday. So just wanted to share that. So Pat, getting back to you,
Yes.
I know for you are all about enjoying the journey to our intentions and our goals, which I think is so important. Tell me, how did you get to this? Is that something you always practiced and you always knew?
No, that's not something I always practice. This is actually something that I've been I've been intentional with for the maybe past 2 years, 3 years now.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting more and more into the pleasures of the journey.
Okay.
Because, and I've always been like this since I was younger, since I was a little girl in Haiti. I've always been like this. I'm very goal oriented. I don't know if it's because I'm a Capricorn. I don't know.
Me
But
too. I'm a Capricorn
oh
too.
my God.
Yes,
And,
right.
you know, Capricorns are very, you know, you build yourself, you have a goal, you have intentions, and you go, go, go. And then I realized mostly in the later aspect of my life, mostly in the later stages of my business, which is now my coaching business, I realized that I would achieve these goals, but I wasn't really happy. I would get the things, but I wasn't really happy, or you know, and then I always had a next goal. So and I would forget, you know, the journey would be very stressful, and then at the end, I was still not very. I was okay, you know. I got there. Now next, you know, and then this year I celebrated my 40th birthday.
Nice.
And I realized that, you know, I need to, I'm not going to change in the way that I am. I am someone who's very goal oriented, who's very, you know, and that's fine, but enjoying the journey, you know, relishing in each step, and seeing how, even when things are not good, seeing how I can be grateful for what the things that are good, and also learn from the things that are not good, and even enjoy the things, like savoring life basically with each step. And this is my practice right now. This has been my
Yeah.
practice for the last year, and the last 2 years, I would say, and then more and more this year. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
So tell me about your journey, because I know we were talking last week when we were talking about doing this interview together. Tell me about your journey in terms of how did you get into coaching? And I know now do a lot of work with corporate. So if you want
Yes.
to share a bit about us, how did you get into coaching in the first place, and how did you go about with corporate? Right?
Switching. Yeah, I actually started my business online 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago.
Wow. At the
And
time, I didn't even know there was such a thing.
actually, I remember I lost my job, and then I was pregnant, and I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
And then I discovered this whole online world, and I just built a virtual assistant business. It was a great business, actually. I had lots of fun. And then my business, you know, evolved into just project management, and I would launch with different clients. You know, all my clients would just be word of mouth from different clients telling other clients, and I would just be their project manager. And I actually had a team, you know, helping implement. It was great. But the thing that I found is that after being a launch project manager, a launch strategist, and your whole business is just that, you just launch. And launching is taxing on your psyche, on your soul, on physically. And I found myself being disconnected with my clients, being disconnected with the work that I was doing, resenting a lot. I couldn't control, and you know, us Capricorns, we want to control stuff. And you know, that's
We're big controllers.
control freaks, and you're still, you know, it's still not a good thing to control others or anything like that. You know, but I was feeling out of control. And it's actually one of my clients who told me, in one of our planning sessions, she was telling me, you know, I think you would be a great coach. And then I'm gonna plug her here. Julie, she has the beautiful You Coaching Academy, and she just pushed me towards it, and I just studied. I did my coaching certificate, and I was still launching on the side. You know, I still had my business, and I had my coaching business that I was trying to get reared, you know, together. And that was fine at the beginning. but I got a little bit more frustrated with the launching work. The online world wasn't really, a lot of the launching work wasn't jiving with who I was. The different strategies that that I had to implement, I wasn't agreeing with how the quote unquote manipulation that I felt that launching involves when it comes to getting clients. So I no longer had I no longer felt called with this type of work. So I decided to jump into my coaching, and it was great at first, but I got tired of consistently looking for clients, consistently running after clients, stuff like that. And I felt on the inside, which is why when people ask me, when you started your working with corporate, what did you do? What did happen? Blah, blah, blah. And I did a lot of research for sure, because you have to do your research, you have to get out there, you have to, things like that. But the thing that called me is that to me, the way that I wanted to create my business had to feel good. And it's weird that I say that corporate feels good.
No, that is very important. I think that, I know for me, it has to feel good. I can't do anything that doesn't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it.
You're not excited to do it, which is part of the pleasure of the journey, because you're not excited to do it. You're not motivated. You do it, but, and what I found with when I put goals for myself, the more I enjoy the journey, the more I have, the pleasures of it, the journey, and the I relish within it, the more I am satisfied when I get to where I want to be. And this is another parenthesis, I guess, but when I decided to work with corporate, I did my research. I talked to different types of coaches who work with corporate, and I talked with a different type of employees also. And I realized that, people in the corporate, they're people. They need coaches. They need support. They need healing. And wouldn't it be great if the company would pay for it?
Yeah, so then they don't have to. Then you don't have to hear it from them. We don't. They can afford it.
Yeah.
Can afford it.
Exactly. So, there are different ways that coaches can work in the corporate arena. And then I was fortunate enough to work with a company that feels that their employees, and I work with a few now, that feels that their employees, this is part of a package that it can offer their employees. So it's I'm still enjoying it. I'm loving it. Today I got a few emails from a whole bunch of my clients, some have found jobs, some I got promoted, and every time my heart is like boom, 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 boom. I get so happy every single time. Yeah, it is rewarding. But people are people, and everyone needs support. Everyone needs, that mirror to be put in front of them when they're asking for it, obviously. So that's how it all, and when I talk about corporate, a lot of people are like, oh, this doesn't sound like corporate, but it is.
It is very true, because actually I know somebody, for myself, when I started my coaching practice, I was teaching Zumba as well. And I was teaching Zumba, but I wasn't doing it on my own. I was teaching with Gold's Gym in Washington, D.C. And I went in my first two classes with them were at the District of Columbia, D.C. courthouse, because they had a contract with the government. And I recall, then I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could really try to see if I could pitch my coaching to them, And I came to find out they did have coaches, but I don't know for the companies you work with, but they only offered coaches to the executives.
Yeah, that's not that used to be the case, but not anymore. Now all the employees.
Great. That's great. So totally, because that is the thing, like everybody can benefit. And one of the things, like I was doing this program, I was actually attending, I participated in the program. And one of my colleagues, she's a leadership coach, and she does coaching for executives. But one of the things she was saying, what are their executives, their people, is that they're like, they don't call it life coaching.
No.
But it's but the thing is that you can't deal with somebody's career with their stuff at work if you're not dealing with their stuff that's at home.
Exactly. It all intermingles. Yeah. It all intermingles. Because we're human. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
we're multifaceted. Yeah.
Yeah. And like she said, she ends up doing a lot of life coaching for them because, you know, it's like whatever is going on in your life is going to affect your work. And just like whatever, you know, if something is bothering you at work is going on, it's going to affect your life.
Yeah, it's going to affect your life. And that's just the way it is. Now you know, and I understand that, you know, some coaches or people want to, you know, put everything in its own little pot, but you know, it starts like that, but then it just intermingles. And that's how it is.
So let me ask you, how did you, for example, what would you say to somebody who's listening, who may be a coach or something, and they're like, I don't know, I'm doing this now, it doesn't feel really aligned. Like, what would you say to them in terms of figuring out what's the industry, what path would be the path for them? Like, what steps would you give them as a tool to take on that maybe you took for yourself?
So
feeling good, which I think.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, obviously.
Yeah.
And the what I think helps a lot is asking questions. You know, as coaches, we're great at that. So, but you know, try to find a few other people that you might think are doing what you might want to do. Because right now you don't know. So, and then ask them the questions and be open to the answers. Because sometimes, and this is what I found when it came to the way that I wanted to work, I had no idea this was out there until I asked the question. And she's actually a coach. I was talking to her and I was like, okay, let's get on a 30-minute call if you have the time. And she was very busy traveling everywhere. She was gracious enough. And I actually met her in New York City. And the next thing you know, let's get on a call. She was gracious enough to talk to me. And there are a lot of questions that I was asking her that I didn't understand her answers. And I understood her answers after.
Yeah.
So just jot notes, you know, if you can figure out, and I have another gentleman who's a retired coach. He did all his career. And I know that, you know, for him, his career was in the 80s when all of this was just starting, 80s and 90s when all of this was just starting, because coaching is not an industry that's very mature yet. But, you know, he was telling me, you know, this is what I did. And I took all the information. I asked all the questions. I took notes. And I talked to different types of people at different stages of their careers who felt that they were happy doing the things that they were doing. And then Google is also your best friend. You know, just Googling, you know, different, and I love doing that, Googling different business, templates, you know, the way that, you know, business are structured. So that was important to me to see, you know, how I could structure it all, because there's great, you also, you have to know about the feel good, what makes you feel good in the day to day. And then, you know, you can ask these questions, but there's also the reality. How am I going to bring income into my life? So now, you know, you have to put your business hat on, and how can you make both of them collide? There's that too. That's, you know, it's tricky, but it can be done. So start by identifying a few people that are doing the things that you want to do and ask them questions, basically.
Yeah. No, totally. I love that, because I know for myself, when I was working with my first coach, and I was trying to figure out, I was working my regular 9 to 5, and I was trying to figure out what is it that I wanted. Well, at first I was like, I want to get another job, because I wasn't ready to branch out on my own. I knew I wanted to do it, although I thought I was going to have a nonprofit. But I recall when I told her, okay, I realized that, you know, as I was gaining clarity with working with her and thinking and doing my homework, because another thing is coaching, you have to do your homework. I realized that I wanted to be location independent, which is why for me, I love the online space. Like, I don't want to have to work with people in person, because I want to be able to pick up and go. if I want to pick up and go, then if I have a in-person business, and she said, okay, let's get you talking to people who are doing, at the time I didn't know it would be coaching, but I knew I didn't want to do a regular 9 to 5. So she connected me, and I also thought about who are the people that I know who are not doing that,
Yes.
So that told me we have to talk to people who are doing similar things. And then obviously as the clarity came on, like when the light bulb came on with coaching, then I reached out to her because at the time we were not working together anymore, and reached out to other people that I knew were coaches.
Who are coaches, exactly. Yeah, because sometimes you don't have all of the answers at once. Is as you get along, that's when you'll have the answers. And another thing I wanted to say, because I wanted to mention that, there's this big distinction between contractor and employee, or business owner and employee. I would suggest that someone doing all of this research take this out of their mind and seeing how a relation, what can develop. Because this is another thing that when I started my business and I was figuring out, okay, what direction I want to go and how do I want to set this up so that it to be solid. I realized that, in the online world, it's a badge of honor to be, independent, business owner and stuff like that, even if you have no clients, but you're still independent, stuff like that. But, what if there is another way to do this? What if you have a relationship with a company that is more of a contract relationship?
Totally.
Yeah, there's that too. Yes. So being open to everyone's opinion or everyone's ideas or insight, that's always the key, which is why I was saying when I was talking to that coach that I was talking to them in New York, was telling me all the things that I really didn't understand, but I came to understand after. This is the aspect that I didn't understand. I was like, so you're a business owner or you're an employee? What is it?
Because you can many businesses have contracts.
Exactly.
They're not their employees. They actually have a contract with them.
Exactly.
And that's how they make their money.
Exactly. And the businesses, the corporations, they don't, and when I say corporations, I'm not saying big, it could be the big company, but it could be, a smaller company. And that's how they talk about it. They talk about contracts. They don't talk about, they don't necessarily use the word coach until you might have to educate them about what that is. They talk about consultant, things like that. And then, once sometimes you have to educate them and then they get on board. So it's not, a lot of times it's a long process to get to where you want to go, but it's worth it. It totally is.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, because that's the thing, some things that I've noticed is that a lot of people, sometimes they stay in their head. Like I had somebody that I know who apparently is thinking about coaching. And she got on one of my lives and she mentioned it, and I was like, okay, talk to people. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I know you. How come you haven't reached out to me?
Talk to me.
I think sometimes people do that all the time, where they stay in their head and they don't think about reaching out to people they know. Or even I know for me, right now, one of my things is that I want to give back to my community. So because, where I live is not, there are Haitians, but not I'm in Miami, but there's a little Haiti community. I'm not known. I don't know that many people in that community. And I want to be able to go speak in school. So what I've been doing is reaching out to people that I know
that might know. Yes.
Or know people who are doing it, so I can get my foot in there.
Exactly. And that's how it works. Yeah.
And
you have to put yourself out there and ask.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I think sometimes people just stay in their head,
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me about, do you believe in life purpose? And if you do you have one? Do you mind sharing it with us?
So I used to believe in just one life purpose. But I don't anymore. I feel like there's an overall theme in someone's life. There's always an overall theme, but life comes with so many lessons that, your life purpose at one stage of your life might be something, and then at another stage of your life, it's another thing. So, that's my opinion on that. And actually I was thinking about that, last night I was like, I haven't thought about that in a while, a life purpose. So thank you for bringing that to me. But yeah, that's what I feel. And when it comes to my purpose right now, my purpose is actually to enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy, mothering my girls, enjoy the work that I'm doing and the people that I'm impacting, enjoying, every single aspect of my life and how it impacts others. Basically, I feel that's my purpose right now. And by doing that, I'm showing others that they can do the same, because we only have one life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I truly believe that, like you said, that everybody, like in the stages in our lives, our purpose,
Evolves.
We have more than one purpose, and it evolves. Like, for example, I do think I'm not a parent, but you are. So that is one of your purposes.
Yes.
Being a mom. So totally get that. Yeah. And it could even be like, I know for myself, I truly believe that there's this like overarching, and then it just, like, I know for myself, I know one of my big thing with my purpose is really empowering people to show up as who they are.
Yes.
And the thing is that it's like I tell people all the time, I don't just show up authentically or talk about people being their authentic self only in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I show up authentically everywhere in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I do my best to do that. And if I'm talking to a friend or I meet a stranger and we're having a conversation and it goes about that, I'm gonna share it. So basically, I'm showing up on purpose everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Area. So yeah. What do you believe the world needs more of, and why?
I think that the world needs people to listen more and talk less. And the state of the world right now, unfortunately, I was actually talking to my husband about that, and he's like, well, the world hasn't really changed. There's always been bad things and good things, and, but it's the bad things are more prominent right now. Or maybe I'm focusing a little bit more on them, maybe, who knows. But I do think that the way to change and the way to evolve, the way to become better humans, is to listen to others who might not have the power, who might not have who might not be the ones that others listen to all the time, giving them space, the voice, and then we listening, because that's how you can internalize other people's experience, by listening, and talking less, basically. Yeah.
No, totally. No, it's very true. I totally agree with you. And what I would say, I mean, I'm sure there's good things happening, but
yes.
I get what you mean. And actually, I truly believe, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I believe that we're living in very much transformational times.
Yes.
And I think that's why the stuff that we would consider bad, a lot of the darkness is coming up in order for the light to shine on it, and for us to heal. So I think that's really, I do think that, and I was telling somebody, I was having this conversation, and I was like, I told this person, are you spiritual? And they said, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I said, okay, you're going to get this probably more, like you might get it more than somebody who's not.
Yes.
Like, I believe, like, when we're on a spiritual path, it gets the darkest, it gets worse before it gets better.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's going on right now to us at a global level. And, obviously in the States, we all know, but I truly believe that it's getting very dark because we're actually healing. We may not see it, but it's actually, the transformation is happening.
Exactly. Because a lot of things that were probably happening were hidden because they were still happening, and now are, put to light. Everyone can see it. Exactly. And that's basically what's happening. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Totally. I often say that nothing hidden can be healed.
Exactly.
In order for things to be healed, we have to be aware of them. They have to come up, and that's how the transformation happens. And acceptance.
And acceptance.
If we're like, oh my God, Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God, we're not accepting it. So it's
We're
not
not accepting, and we're not, transforming it so that we can move.
totally.
Hmm.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on women empowerment?
That's a big question. That's a big question. Um, I want you to clarify a little bit the question, because
When you
it's a big
hear women
question.
empowerment, what comes up for you? Is that better or?
Well, when I hear women empowerment, there are different angles to
Of course.
embarking on that journey. But for me, when I hear women empowerment, I actually think of my grandmother. But because she raised all these children, in a country, Haiti, how it is,
Yeah.
And for me right now, women empowerment starts with loving yourself.
Yes.
Starts with deep, and not just loving. I know we talk about self-love a lot. We talk about, and a lot of people, when they think about self-love, they think, okay, a manicure there, a massage there, something. But I think the
No.
deeper, truly accepting yourself the way you are, with all your ashes, your ashiness, and all the quote unquote bad things that you have, that and accepting you the way you are, and moving from there. And that's where I think the empowerment comes from, is when you can see yourself for who you truly are, and loving yourself that way, and then emanating it out, basically.
Mhm.
That's what I see when I think about women empowerment.
No, totally. That is definitely true. Yeah, definitely. I hear you saying, like, speaking your truth,
Mm-hmm.
really being who you are, and accepting all of you exactly the way you are. Because I
Yeah,
think a lot of us women, sometimes we think we have to change,
exactly. And we have a lot of societal rules that impact
Yes,
us as women.
yes,
And it's kind of, you have to kind of dismantle all of that, take that out of your mind, and seeing who the raw, um, who the, what is all underneath all of those,
totally.
yeah, all of those rules, and all of those things that you put on yourself, that you were raised with.
Yes.
Who is the raw Pat, basically, and what does she
Mhm.
want? And a lot of times she can be angry, she can be happy, she can be crying,
Yep.
and that's all part of the power that we have as women. It's just going back to that, that raw energy that we have.
Totally, totally. Just the other day, I wrote a post on my Facebook page, and I was sharing how, recently I was having a conversation with somebody, and she was like, yeah, I don't know about this whole women empowerment thing because we need men. And I was like, I get that. I do believe we need men, and I do believe that we need to work together, women and men together, to like better humanity and everything. And then it got me, and I was listening to an interview, and actually, I really want to work with men starting this year. And I was actually, because I was listening to an interview with Oprah Winfrey and Reese Witherspoon, and I forgot the other woman's name. She's going to be in that movie with them. And they were sharing something, and I thought about this, and I hear it all the time, how women, we really, like, they were saying how the word ambitious, and my group, my Facebook group is called Ambitious Women on a Mission with Najdjeda Chappoteau, and that some people say, oh, like that word is a bad word.
It's
Like,
about, yeah,
we're being told that we can't be ambitious, we can't want more for ourselves, and how women, we tend to be, many of us are like people pleasers. We have a hard time speaking our truth. And I was sharing how, for me, the reason why I'm so committed to women empowerment, to that whole movement, and I was saying those are people who are questioning that movement. Well, not to say that men don't have that issue, but we've had more to work through in terms of accepting ourselves. Women are not applying for jobs that, if they don't have the 100% what they're asking for.
exactly, exactly.
Men, I think I read somewhere they only need to have about 20% to apply.
Exactly, exactly. And
So
that's, yeah,
yeah, we've had to fight for the rights for our rights a lot more than they
and
have.
it's not in society has been in the rules of engagement, it's been to their benefit. I mean, this is
Definitely.
reality.
And
It's been to their
again, nothing
benefit.
against them, but that's
Exactly.
like, yeah.
It's
And
not,
I was like, okay,
and
you know
it's
what?
not that, and I'm not, and I also want to add that when women win, men also win.
Yes.
Because the castle that they built is also imprisoning them in a sense.
Yes, totally.
Okay, because there are aspect of, the more softer aspect, the more and I was having this conversation with my husband again, and I was like, this is something that you can still show. He's like, but no, I'm a guy and I have to do this and that, and it's still, they're still imprisoned by that, because there are men who want to show their authentic self is not permitted to be and we can go a little bit less binary when it comes to men and women, and there is a spectrum when it comes to gender and things like that. So when we stay focused on, just this is for us and this is for them, there's no in between, there's no spectrum, and everybody lose basically.
Totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, totally. So great. So now I want you, thank you so much. We've reached the end of the interview, Pat. Tell people about, obviously they're going to have your website information, and I know you're on Instagram. They're going to have that when they visit my website. So if you're listening to us to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, just visit my website, www.lovelikecoaching.com, to find out about her. But tell them a little bit more about you that you want to share as we're wrapping it up.
Well, they can find me on Instagram, like you said, and on my website, patromain.com. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, great. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody who has joined us. Thank you again, Pat.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, and thank you. So if you enjoyed this and you don't want to miss any other episodes, again, it's going to be twice a month starting next month, which is March 2018. Put in your name, subscribe to my email list under the video. If you, after her information, you're going to see the box to sign up for my email list, subscribe, put in your name, your email every Thursday. Well, now every other Thursday, you'll get the new episode. And also leave us a comment. Let us know did this resonate. I'll let her know. She can come back and reply. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, same thing. Visit my web, leave us a review, share it, and also come to my website, www.lovelikecoaching.com, and go ahead and subscribe to my email list as well, and you'll get my free gift as well. So thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Love and life.